Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Ron the Valleys podcast. So today's guest, I'm joined by Mathew Williams. Hi Matthew.
Hi, how are you doing? Okay?
Yeah, you good this morning?
Yeah, brilliant, thank you.
Good. So firstly, could you tell us a bit about your Crispy Cod business and how many years it's been opened for?
The Crispy Cod was formed in 2008, so in January we're 12 years old, and it's been an amazing journey. So like I said, the last 12 years have actually flown by. There's a lot happened in the last 12 years, which I'm very proud of, and yeah, we've just gone from strength to strength, really.
Good. So what made you decide to open your own business, made you to go for it?
From a young age, at the age of 14, I worked in Tom Pentre Fagans. I wasn't interested in really messing around in the streets and other things. I just wanted to be learning and maybe start my career journey from a young age. I always had I enjoyed cooking from a young age. When I used to go to my grandparents' house on a Saturday, my grandma would be preparing the vegetables, and I used to like getting stuck in. I probably made a bit more of a mess than what I did good, but she always allowed me to learn.
Yeah.
My mother was a very great cook as well. She used to enjoy creating all different kinds of food, and I knew that I wanted to be a chef. And unfortunately, in school, I wasn't very clever. I was probably in the low learning classes throughout in school. I struggled in school with spelling and other things, but I always knew that I wanted to do something hands-on, and I had a passion for nice tasting food, because I was very fortunate that my parents worked their socks off, and we used to go on nice different holidays around the Mediterranean and other places, and I enjoyed eating different food. So
yeah.
I worked in Fagans in Tom Pentre at 14 with Curly. I then went on from there, after I left school, to Begent College. I worked in Miskin Manor, and then I went from, when I finished in college, I then went to work in different restaurants in Cardiff, Woods Brasserie, and then I was very fortunate to be selected in the Welsh national culinary team.
Yeah.
So then that was a great experience, where I worked with all the best chefs in Wales, and then we competed against other countries. I was then approached by the Newbridge on Usk, which at the time was a very, very good restaurant. I was offered a sous chef job there, and within 3 weeks of me taking that job, the head chef broke his back, and then I had to basically jump in and be head chef at like 22 years of age.
That must be daunting.
It was daunting. I didn't even know the suppliers' names and numbers and nothing, and all of a sudden, the restaurant manager walked in one morning and said, we've been shortlisted to be judged for Welsh Restaurant of the Year. So obviously that was another tormenting, so I just basically wanted to hide somewhere. but I kept on moving forward, and we were very fortunate that we won Best Restaurant in Wales, and that was probably one of my biggest accolades before I opened the Crispy Cod.
Yeah.
And then from there I worked in the Custom House in Pontyclun Marina, and that was a fabulous restaurant. I've also got Michelin star experience in Luckham Park in Chippenham, and also the Vineyard at Stockcross with John Campbell. That was a 2 Michelin star restaurant. And like I said, I worked in the Custom House in Pontyclun Marina, and I just got really fed up basically. I was working silly hours.
Yeah, I can imagine. It is a lot of hours, and
it is a lot of hours.
Yeah.
And you go to work at 7 o'clock in the morning, you're finishing 1 o'clock in the morning, and you're doing that maybe 5-6 days a week. And I thought to myself, I sat back one day in one of my split shifts, and I looked and I thought, if I want to start a family one day, this is going to be a really challenging job. I want to see my children grow up, because when I was growing up as a child playing rugby and other things, my father wasn't there to watch me. He was always working.
Yeah.
And I missed that, and I wanted to hopefully have a career and a job that I could do those things for my children, to be there.
Yeah, of course.
Even though my father supported me 110%, he sometimes couldn't leave his business because he had to be there basically. And yeah, I just went on, and I was very fortunate. I was back in Fagans one night in Tom Pentre, and Mike Davis, the owner of Fagans, came on to me and he said, "You fancy renting one of my kitchens off me in Tonrevel, Thomastown?" And I thought, I don't know if I want to do this, but I thought, honestly, I woke up the next morning, phoned Mike up, went down, he showed me around the premises, the pub, and I thought, I got nothing to lose.
Just go for it, basically.
Just go for it. But in the meantime as well, I did split up with my girlfriend, who is now my wife, Anna, and I was back home living with my parents, and I was in a bit of a rut basically, because my job took over my life. Then I was working 120 hours a week, and it was just very, very hard work. So I decided to take the plunge, and I took Mike up on the offer, and it was an amazing success. Obviously, I called it Oliver's Restaurant because part of Fagin's and Oliver Twist, and Fagin was the boss. So
Yeah.
we did that. It grew from roaring success. And then one day, opposite Fagin's was a place called the Waterton, where basically people were looking for, if you come out of jail or something, they were looking for to get your house and to get yourself back on the feet.
Right.
And there was a young man there called Mathew. He came and knocked the kitchen door one day and said, "Have you got any jobs?" And I asked him why was he in the Waterton, and he gave me an explanation. I just thought to myself, everybody deserves a second chance in life.
Yeah.
So I gave him a job, and Mathew was, his workability was amazing, and he was a great guy. And to be honest though, I respect Mathew for, like, looking back at the time, sometimes we used to argue because maybe his discipline was a little bit low and he couldn't learn to shut his mouth. But then obviously me being a fiery chef at the time,
you got to think of backgrounds as well.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know what
No,
people's
exactly,
backgrounds and things like that.
But Mathew was amazing, and anything I asked him to do, he'd do for me. And basically we went from strength to strength. Then one day he came into work and said that his landlord was selling a few of his properties off, and he said, "Oh, the wine bar in Tonrevel." And I thought to myself, right, what's the wine bar then? And he said, "Oh, I don't know, it's up in Tonrevel." So after we finished the shift about 10 o'clock, we drove up to Tonrevel. And to be honest, even though I'd been in Tonrevel Fagin's for 3 years, and we built a cracking reputation, I'd never really gone into the town of Tonrevel much.
Yeah.
So I drove up, looked at the premises, and I thought, you know what, this can be something special here. But I didn't know at that time, I didn't know what it was going to be. Whether it was going to be a bistro, whether it was going to be like a wine bar, whether it was going to be a cafe. And obviously from a young age, I loved going to the seaside with my gran. We used to have a caravan in the summer holidays, and I'd go fishing all day in Pontyclun Pier.
Yeah.
And then my gran would walk up in the afternoon, bring me dinner from Greg's in the town and other things. So that was very. She'd also get me fish and chips from Beadle's as well and things like that. And I loved that sort of. I don't think there's anything better than eating fish and chips by the seaside.
No, it's not. It's not at all.
It's psychological, is this, because of the sea air, the salt that comes off the sea air, and obviously you eat salt and vinegar on your fish and chips. So I thought to myself, right, and obviously I decided to buy the premises, even though when I bought it, I still didn't know what I was going to do, but I knew I had to take this plunge to do something.
So you didn't want no one else to get it,
no,
basically.
Exactly, yeah.
No.
And I had a takeaway license on there, so I was very fortunate. And I came home one day and I thought, right, you know what I'm going to do fish and chips, because at the time there's two Chinese in Tonrevel, but there wasn't a traditional fish and chip shop in Tonrevel. There was years ago next door to the shop that I bought. So obviously then the Crispy Cod was formed, and then, like we say, 12 years later, here we are. It's been an amazing experience. It's been very hard, and I think a lot of people don't realise the pressure that goes on behind the scenes.
No, not at all.
Sometimes you're working on the fryer, you're all smiles, but obviously there's a lot of things that go on that people don't realise, and it is a lot of pressure. I bought that shop, I think I had £33,000 saved in the bank. And I think a lot of people think I was giving a lot of money off other people and things, but it wasn't, it was myself. I bought it, I'd done the shop up very cheaply the first time round, just to get the shop open.
It is, when you start a business, like, you got to think practically as well,
yeah.
don't you?
And I did, to be honest, how I did it on a shoestring, I don't know. I went to banks, I had credit cards, and I basically remortgaged my house just to follow my dream, to be honest with you. And the day the shop was opened, we were very fortunate that Mathew, Rees and James Hook, at that time, they had just won the Six Nations rugby, so obviously, and Mathew had a cracking Six Nations tournament, and obviously being a Tonrevel boy, and James Hook had kicked every single goal for Wales, so he was like the chocolate boy of Wales at that time, and he still is a very well respected person, and I respect them massively for what they did. And the opening day the queue was probably half a mile long.
Yeah.
But like I said, prior to doing that, I had no experience on fish and chips. And I never forget the day the shop opened. I was driving to Tonrevel, and I drove past Asda's, and I was listening to Phil Collins. And obviously I know my parents love listening to Phil Collins, so I used to like listening to it. And I cried all the way from Tonpan Asda's to Tonrevel, because I realised if this didn't work, I was going to be a failure. And I'd never failed in anything I'd done in my life.
It goes to I think you start to go to panic mode. So either goes really, it's either way, you know. Either goes amazing or down in this.
It is, and I put everything. I got my house on this. I had credit cards, overdraft. I was in a bucket of water, and I was either going to sink or swim. But coming from a background, my grandfather was a very fantastic businessman, like A. Williams and Sons Fruit and Veg. They had shops all over the Rhondda. and my father's the same as well. And my mother, the discipline she gave me from a young age was phenomenal. That she made me be the best you could be.
Yeah.
Even though I wasn't successful in school, she'd made me be the best person I could be. And discipline and everything. I thought to myself, this is going to work, I got to do it. And that's what we did. And we opened the doors. And don't get me wrong, I think I should have maybe done a bit more research on maybe training fish and chips, because I was given pub-sized portions of cod and things like that. And it was after 2 weeks, I was wondering why people were coming in and only buying one fish.
Right.
They were sharing it and other things. And when my first year after, I went to my accountant and he said to me, you better make some big changes, otherwise you're not going to last long. And I said, why? Because my profit margin was so low and little, and because I was using the best potatoes, the best oil, the best fish.
Yeah.
Everything we were doing was the best I could, but I was charging too low prices. I was giving
for the quality.
For the quality,
food,
yeah. But my attitude was I want, if you've got to use the best ingredients to get the best results. You can't buy cheap fish and expect it to taste like amazing. You've got to buy the best of everything. So that's what we did, and we learned and we developed ourselves as a business. We made a few changes, and that's what we did. After 5 years the shop was open, I decided to take the plunge to do a massive refit, where we went from using a local frying Preston Thomas. We went to a Dutch company because we couldn't keep up the demand. We were very fortunate. 3 years after, we won Welsh Fish Shop of the Year, and it just went ballistic. The shop, we had customers come from Cardiff, Bridgend, Swansea. So we had to develop ourselves then inside the business to make sure we could keep up the demand of these people coming.
Yeah.
We didn't want to let them down, basically.
It's like that now, when you're though in Gethley, people come from everywhere, don't they?
Yeah, we do. We've got a good customer base. Like on bank holidays and other days, we have people coming from, like last week we had people from Newport, and we've had people from like Birthwells and Swansea. It's surprising how far people travel for good fish and chips.
A lot of people coming from Australia. Everyone's like, oh yeah, we've heard of it. I'm like, what? In Australia? Like.
Well, it's like, I think we've been in winning all the awards we've won. We've been quite fortunate over the years, and I think we've been in a lot of like air magazines and things like that. So we have people, believe it or not, have retweeted us on Twitter and things, and when they come over to visit family, they're like, oh, we've got to go to this, which is good really for us as a business, and it's good. It's something as well which I'm proud of as well, that we've tried our best as a business to put the valleys on the map as well.
Yeah.
Because when we won Welsh Fish and Chip Shop of the Year 3 years after we opened, prior to that there was other fish shops who'd won it in Cardiff and city centres, and the media were all over them. They'd be in front page of the South Wales Echo and the Western Mail. But then as soon as we contact the media companies, and as soon as you say, oh, that's great, that's an amazing story, where you're from again, and they'd say Tonrevel or the Rhondda, they wouldn't phone you back, as if to say like the Rhondda is a deprived area and is poor, and which is really frustrating, because the Rhondda's got so many great accolades of what we are, and everybody's proud of what we got, and I'm very proud being a Rhondda boy as well.
Yeah, well that's the point of the podcast, because like there's so much potential, and that's the point. Show off the positive, not the negative.
Yeah, exactly. People, as soon as we mention a Rhondda to people, and they think, oh, it's a deprived area. The people, there's all scruffy terraced houses. It's not. It's the people. People will be shocked if they actually come and look at the valleys. There's so many great businesses in the Rhondda, and there's so many people, like you said, positive, who want to make put the Rhondda on the map, and that's what we've tried to do, and we've been very proud of that. I've never turned around and said, oh, we've won it. It's not the fact of it's the area, it's the community, and it's the fact of that's what we want to do as a business. We want to show off Rhondda and say, yeah, we can compete with people in city centres and other businesses, because we are good at what we do.
Yeah, definitely. So obviously you talked about all your training and everything like that. So when you started Crispy Cod, did you expect it? Obviously, when you open your business, you want it to do well. Yeah. Obviously, did you expect it to do as well as it has done?
I didn't know, to be honest. So I thought we'd be, when I done my business plan for NatWest Bank, I done my business plan, and it was half of what I expected it to be. I didn't underplay it. Like a lot of people say, oh, make sure you're going to do a business plan, play it a little bit lower rather than higher, because you'd be safer. I did the genuine business plan of what I thought we'd do as a business, but Tonrevel has grown as well in the area. The developments, the housing estates have come, the new developments, and believe it or not, like I said already, that you'd be surprised how far people travel for good food.
Yeah.
And like I said, over the years we've done leaflet drops, we've gone in magazines, we've gone in papers and other things. But the best publicity for any business is word of mouth. If I always say to all my staff that you've got one chance to please a customer. If you don't please that customer after the first time, they're not coming back. And I think a lot of businesses maybe sometimes are naive that you've got to look at that customer. I always say to my staff that if a child comes in here, if they go out there with a smile, where they're going to come for the rest of their life? They're going to come for the crispy cod. So like yesterday we had a gang of boys in here for playing nicely over the park, and I thought to myself, we had some cartons under the counter, so I went out and I gave them all a carton of pop each because they were well respected kids. And then they thought we were great as a business, and they all were smiling, they all putting their thumbs up, and that's what we want to be as a business. It's not about just taking. You've got to give back as well. We're very heavily involved with, obviously through the years of building a big reputation, we've been heavily involved with the community as well, which is something we want to do as a business, and to try and help others.
Yeah. Because
like I've just said, we're not about just taking off people. We want to give back as well, to say thank you and appreciate people. And yeah, that's what it is. It's been a lot better than what I thought. The journey's been a lot quicker than what I thought, to be honest with you. It's like sometimes my feet don't touch the ground. But it's been a great 12 years, and it's going to be so long moving forward as well, so it's great.
Yeah, so how successful have you been? How many, because I know you've won a lot of awards. Yeah. Could you tell us a bit about them, and what's your most proudest award?
Yeah, it's, like I said, we win numerous awards. Half the time I don't even know what's going on. We get a letter or we get an email off somebody say we've been nominated for this, or from a customer have given us a great review on some site or whatever. But it's to be honest with you, in the beginning, my biggest thing was to win Welsh Fish and Chip Shop of the Year. When I opened that shop, my dream was to win Welsh Fish and Chip Shop of the Year. And we entered it the first time and we didn't come anywhere. And I thought to myself, well, hang on, the food we're serving is good.
Yeah.
And why can't we come anywhere? So I sat down one day, I phoned the people who organised the competition, and people think it's a farce. It's not. People think like you pay to enter, and it's not, none of that at all. Basically, there's probably about 5 or 6 different steps you've got to go through. You have got to fill an application form in, and then they do research on your business, and then they send mystery shoppers. So I've been teased over the years by certain people, and they say, oh, you bought this and nobody else entered it, and it's nothing to do with that. Anybody can enter it. If anybody wants to enter, they can. But it's just the criteria you've got to match when you fill your entry form, and about your training, your development within inside the business, your marketing tools, what you use, and you've got to have the full package. So I realised at that time we didn't have the full package. So for another 12 months I worked hard, and we entered again. The following year we come up into like the top 5 in Wales. That
must be nice, and when I write, because you obviously get in there, like.
And like I said previously, when I left school with no qualifications, I left with catering, and that was it. And yeah, I find things like that difficult. But if you give me something when I'm hands-on, that's when I thrive, and I love doing what I do. So I had to then go from being a chef to a fish fryer to now learning all these other things, other tasks as well.
Yeah, of course.
So we did it the following year. We were in the final, and we were very fortunate. But in the meantime, it was quite difficult because I lost my mother in the meantime. So that was my first child was born. Corey was due to be born, and everything was great. And obviously, unfortunately, I lost my mother. So it put me off track for a long time. But to get myself focused and motivated, I did actually focus on obviously becoming the best in Wales.
Yeah.
So we entered, and I just, like I said, focused, and we'd done everything we possibly could. We'd done everything the best we could. All the staff were brilliant as well, and we were very fortunate. I never forget, I was in driving up Chalky one day, and my phone was going on hands-free, and I pressed the button, and it was actually one of the main ladies from the organisation saying, just to let you know, congratulations, you won Best in Wales.
Oh, I bet you was chuffed.
It was, yeah, it was. It was good, but only thing I wanted to do was that obviously just to show my mother that, and it was quite emotional time, because that person, my mother was an amazing person. I just wanted to see that.
Oh, nice.
So we went on from strength to strength, and we went to London, and I couldn't actually believe it. Obviously, because we're obviously in South Wales, I'd never been to all these big fish and chip dinners. And then when we got to London, obviously I had to put a big suit on and everything, and obviously went into a room, and I was actually speechless. There was like 600 of the best fish and chip shops in the country were in one room, and it was like the Oscars of fish and chips.
Yeah.
And obviously when they called our name, it was amazing. My father was I think it's one of the first times my father actually said well done to me, and Anna was there at the time as well. And obviously we went on stage, we got presented an award, and that was very, very proud. And I was more proud of anything, because at the end of the day, I always say it, and maybe a lot of people don't realise, but we couldn't have done that without the staff. So I don't make the crispy cod. I'm not this magician who waves a magic wand and everything happens. It's the fact of we've got an amazing workforce behind the business, and I'm very particular as a boss, because I want it done correctly, because but obviously the staff we've got in place in the business, they're all amazing at the both shops, and and I always say to my own staff, if a customer comes in, we will do anything for them to come out to the business with their expectations met, and that's what we do. But I think, like I said, the biggest awards are, well, obviously we've been very fortunate to win Welsh Fish and Chip Shop of the Year 3 times. Unfortunately, we've never won the best in the UK. But like I said, there's people out there who've been doing it a lot longer than us, and everybody in the fish and chip industry is amazing. It's a great community to be involved with. 3 or 4 times a year I drive up to different parts of the country and we go for dinners. I've built up some amazing relationships with some of the best fish and chip operators, and I'm very fortunate to be in the position we are as a business. So that's now.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
So obviously I know recently, so if people haven't come to Crispy Cod, what's on the menu? So obviously I know the menu have recently changed.
Yeah.
So is there, because I know there's different options, there's vegetarian options and gluten-free on certain days. So could you tell us just a little bit about that?
Yeah, we do gluten-free on the first Monday of each month. We try to accommodate for people who need that sort of who need that as part of their diet. Vegetarian, in the beginning we probably didn't have much vegetarian option, but obviously we need to look for people who are looking for different requirements. We try to suit everybody.
Yeah.
So whether you want a burger or great tasting fish and chips, or you're vegetarian, we try to accommodate for everybody. We did up until a couple of years ago, we did have a massive menu that we were taking a lot of our time on making a massive amount of homemade products. But the only problem with having a massive menu is when you're busy, customers are waiting a long time. And over the last 10 years, I think the whole of the UK has got we're in a bit of a rush. Everybody seems to be obviously people in a starved time zone. So when you got your older generation who are retired, they don't mind waiting. But you've got somebody coming home from work at 6 o'clock on a Friday night, they don't want to be sat in a fish shop for half an hour waiting for their food to cook.
No, I know. So
that's what we've tried to do. We've tried to adapt, we've tried to move forward and to make sure we can fill everybody's requirements. And like I sat down and I was speaking to somebody else who got another fish and chip shop up the country. He got 6 shops, Alistair, of seniors, and he said to me, why have you got this massive menu? And over a period of time I was thinking to myself, yeah, he's right, because at the end of the day a traditional British fish and chip shop is fish, mushy peas or curry or gravy, chips, and like maybe a nice tartar sauce.
Yeah, it doesn't have a massive
when we are trying to make these different curries and doing this with chicken and doing that with chicken, you know what I mean, we're not Nando's and other places. So my philosophy is then I want to make the best tasting batter, I want to make the quality of our fish superb, I want to make our chips the best we possibly can, and I want to make our mushy peas the best. So when people taste them, they want to come back for more. So there's no point having 35, 40 things on the menu. Just concentrate on what you do. So I was always told that, by a big famous chef, and I worked with him, Stephen Terry, he goes Hardwick and Hardwick, and he always said to me, less is more.
Yeah. So
that's always stuck in the back of my mind. And he's correct. Instead of doing, like you go to some takeaways and they've got pizzas, kebabs and fish and chips, and to me you can't concentrate.
It's not nice though. No. It's not. It's one of those places you go if you have to.
To me, if you want to be a pizza shop, be a pizza shop. If you want to be a kebab shop, be a kebab shop. If you want to be a pizza shop, if you want to be a fish and chip shop, serve the best fish and chips you possibly can.
Yeah.
And then that way you can concentrate more on the fryer and where your food is cooking, rather than walk in different areas of the shop to get different things. So that's what we did. We basically decluttered the menu. We took all the things that we weren't selling a lot of, and then we just concentrated on selling the best we possibly could, and that was it. And over this time, I think it's got a lot easier for the staff as well.
Yeah.
And so I think the staff are a lot happier, rather than having 55 things on the menu and then making up what the customers are asking them. And for training as well, for training purposes in the business, it's a lot easier.
Awesome. So obviously, following the journey of the Crispy Cod now, which is obviously going phenomenal.
Yeah.
you want to talk about the new development, because obviously you're opening a new restaurant,
Yeah.
and that's going to be very big for
Yeah.
you. So do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So obviously over like the last 12 years, I've been very proud of what we've done as a business, and we've cooked amazing fish and chips, and we've grown and grown and grown. Obviously my background being the chef that I am, it's just I want to do something a little bit different in fish and chips.
Yeah.
I was very fortunate 2 years ago to go to Japan with my good friend Callum Richardson from the Bay in Scotland. He's like the Gordon Ramsay of fish and chips equivalent. So when he phoned me, they said, "Do you want to come to Japan with me?" Because we'd done like a British food exhibition.
Yeah.
In like the equivalent of Harrods, but it's probably about 40 times the size. And basically, Japanese people, as soon as they smell fish and chips, they go ballistic. It's unbelievable. So we went out there, and then when I was looking around with Callum, different restaurants and different food stalls, I thought to myself, I need to do something different, and I want to be that person in Wales. I don't believe there are other shops in the country, like you've got the Scallop Shell in Bath, and you've got loads of other shops in the country. But basically, I want to do fish and chips, but with different species of fish as well, so people can experience different tastes and different flavours. And I think that's helped myself through other TV programmes over like the years. Cooking has gone massive.
Yeah.
Like you look back 15 years ago, there's probably one cookery programme. You had Floyd on getting drunk, cooking food, and that was about it. But over
Now
the
it's
years,
everywhere now,
you
isn't
know,
it?
I mean, Gordon Ramsay, Marco Pierre White, you've got Michelle Roux Jr. All these programmes have come on and they've grown. And I just wanted, and I think as well as the Pontyclun is a great area as well. Same as obviously Gertley and the same as Tonrevel. I mean, it's not the fact of I'm stopping anything I've done to go and do what I'm doing. I'm just pushing myself further.
Yeah.
There has been a few people saying that I don't care about Tonrev, I don't care about Gertley. It's the fact of we want to grow as a business and we want to be that unique business and a brand. So obviously down there we want to be cooking different species of fish, using fresh British fish, coastal fish. Like last week I went to Brixham Fish Market with my son, and we went to the fish market and we just saw different species of
Corey
fish.
loves it though,
yeah,
doesn't
I know
he?
he does, yeah. Corey's very... I think he's going to be better than me, to be honest with you, because at 9 years old he's really sharp already, and he's taken great interest in it as well. And I think he's very proud. But I'd always say to him, when you go to school, don't talk about me. Don't. He'd always like he likes wearing crispy cod jacket, and I bought them for him. Yeah, but
he can't help it though.
No,
he?
but
It's just the thing is he's passionate, because like when I ask him what do you want to be when you're older, he says either his own fish and chip shop or rugby player.
yeah, so he can't go. I stick to rugby if I was in. No, I'm only joking. But no, my daughter's getting the same now. She come down here a few times and she wants to work waitress on the tables, and she's only 4, and but it's just the fact of I want to do this because we want to try and be something different. I mean, you can all get fish and chips in batter, but if you look over like the last couple of years, all the health concerns and what people don't realise we do as a business differently as well. We cut out chips thicker, the oil that we use, and we use a thinner batter, so obviously there's less fat content being consumed. But what we want to do down there as well in Pontyclun, Rock and Scallop is basically you can have fresh fish counters, and you can look at your fish, you can pick it, and then you can have it baked. And if you don't want chips, you can have a salad. So
yeah, that's nice. That's nice.
So what we're trying to do is be different, but at the same time look at the health side of things as well. And what we want to do as well, we want to support British fishermen. So instead of having fish from around the world, we want to stick to British fish rather than, and Welsh as well. I mean, we're very proud of using Welsh produce of the business, and we want to support businesses in Britain and Welsh businesses as well by using that. So that's what we want to do. We want to do, obviously it's going to be a takeaway, and it's going to be a sit-down restaurant. The total amount of seats is not confirmed yet, but it's probably looking at least 80 to 100 seats.
Right.
And yeah, that's what we want to do. So, but like I said, I want to influence on this as well. Like a lot of people said that I'm doing that to be different and I don't care, but it is something we just want to take that little step up as well from the crispy cod. It's here and it's doing really well at what we do, and we're trying to take that little step up and try and be a little bit unique in doing that as well.
Yeah, really amazing. And obviously I want to point out quickly as well, so you also go around schools as well, don't you?
Yeah, massive. We very particular in the business as well is educating the future, because we've been asked by loads and loads of schools to go in and do talks and to do demos. Last summer we done a big beach clean up at Chalky Primary School with Edward Sprague. Ed obviously is a good customer of the shop in Gertley, and he can see that we are trying to be different as a business, and Ed thinks outside the box in what he does as well. So he asked me one day would I come and do a talk, so I did, and I absolutely loved it. I went up there, we took a big box of fish up with us. A few of the kids got scared when they seen the crabs and the lobsters.
Yeah, I to be honest, I would have been a gas at that age.
Unfortunately, I did have one parent come on to me after and said, my daughter won't eat fish anymore. And I said, why? Because she didn't realise how it looked. So what I did, we went in and we done a talk, and we tried to educate the children, to show them that basically, not slagging other businesses off, but obviously McDonald's and other big chains, that those kids are just addicted by going there for food, but they don't, a lot of the time,
it's not healthy from at all.
But they don't realise what they're actually eating.
No.
And the thing is, it's hard as a parent. I'm the same. But as soon as a child goes past McDonald's, it's like turning the volume up, and they're like all screaming, "Can we go to McDonald's?" And the only reason they go there is like the bond is from a young child with a Happy Meal, and they get a toy.
Yeah.
So it's actually proven. It's any child under the age of 6, the most well-known letter in the alphabet is M for McDonald's.
That's bad though. It is bad though, isn't it?
It is bad, but obviously it is, don't get me wrong, I go to McDonald's myself, send them my daughter, and because they just do things right, and they're very clever in what they do, and they marketing, and they are very good at what they do, and you can't take that away from them. But we went into the school to try and educate children about eating fish, about sustainable, about packaging, about recycling, instead of just dropping litter on the floor. Think about where it's going to go. Is it going to go in the oceans? And then we done a competition with Bagsy as well, who's another local,
I've seen that.
Local legend. And we done a competition about designing a brown eco bag, and then obviously part of that I give the girl who won a Fitbit watch, and what I did with all the children from those 2 classes, we give them all a child's meal. But I said to all them children, I said, the only reason I'm going to give you these child's meal vouchers, you can come to the shop at any time with your parents. I said, but I want you to try fish. So don't try chicken nuggets or anything. And it was absolutely amazing. I think we give out 54 vouchers, and I think 46 or 47 of them kids had fish.
Yeah.
Which was great, and every time I see those children now being chalky, they're like, "Oh, Mr. Fishman," and it's great because it's nice. But obviously, it's nice they remembered me. If I was boring, perhaps they wouldn't remember me. But I think I made it quite enjoyable.
Yeah.
Because and obviously I've done another school as well over the other valley as well, and I just love going in and trying to help children to realise that there's where their food comes from, because I think we all as people take things for naive. We just open the freezer, cut the bag, put it in the tray, or we go to the shop.
No, I know.
And people just consume food, and I don't think they actually realise where that food has come from, and little things about where that chicken breast has come from, and what farm is. You know what I mean? People don't realise you might go somewhere and there might be like 10,000 chickens in a small little area, and it's cruel. I mean, people do need to realise, and it's the same with fish as well. And it's that, like, people use farmed fish and other things. People need to realise what those animals have gone through as well, because it is important about protecting the future.
Yeah.
And we are very firm on that in the business. We only use sustainable fish. Our oil as well is friendly as well. The oil we use is even part of a zoo, so it goes to show that the money that they make from it, they give profits back to the zoo. And
I mean, people don't understand all that. That's put into the crispy cut.
That's something I've been for the last probably 5 years. Is we're very committed to looking after, like, where we buy our stock from. Like, don't get me wrong, you can go to a cash and carry in Cardiff and pay £3 for something, but myself, I'd rather pay £3.50 or £4 and have something that is protected and something that's going to be around for years to come, rather than, like, if you use some species of fish, they're going to be overfished, and in years to come there's none left. And it's something I think I've been brought in, and obviously quality comes into it massively as well. I mean, I never forget when I was a kid and I used to go to Cardiff Market with my father, and my father would walk around every single stall before he'd buy something for his shops, because he'd want to buy the best quality.
Yeah.
So, and that's something I've been drilled into from a young age, and I think it's passed on into the crispy cod as well, that obviously, like I said previously, you can't buy something that's cheap and tasteless. I haven't got a magic wand to make it taste nice.
Yeah.
So I want to give something back to our customers that tastes good. So, like I said, I know I've said about it twice already, but if somebody comes in here, you got one chance to please that customer, and if they're not coming back. So that's what we do as a business. We go the extra mile. We push ourselves forward to give our customers the best experience we possibly can.
Yeah, it's amazing. Well, thank you very much for your
problem,
time.
thank you.
And you already said it, but I did want to say thank you very much, because I do think this fish shop has put the Rhondda Valleys back on the map. It definitely has. And I do think with the developments going on, hopefully with the tunnel and everything like that, I think you can have a lot more business as well for that.
Thank you.
So yes, and just to let everybody know, I'm going to tag the Crispy Cod Instagram page, Facebook as well. So if you ever want to get in touch or see where the location is, it's all on there for you, okay? Thank you. Bye.